Perhaps you have heard some response, but before we get to those response and back and forth, it appears there is yet another blow for the Atiku Abubakar and the PDP presidential campaign. Another PDP governor has threatened votes of the PDP with another allegations leveled against the former vice president, Atiku Abubakar. This time around, it's coming from the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom. Governor Ortom has alleged that the PDP presidential candidate, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, may be working with the leadership of Miyetti to profile him for public hate over his comment, both at the Kaduna Arewa Forum and the statement Atiku issued over the killing of 36 persons in Beji community of Hukum local government area of Benue State. The governor alleged that Mr. Atiku does not regard him in any way or enough in the scheme of things, and have accused him of picking his presidential campaign council from the state without his input. Hence, on the day of voting, his people will vote as those who have not been consulted. Take a listen to Governor Ortom.
I was the one that, unfortunately, our presidential candidate profiled. And it will appear to me that he is working with Miyetti because that is the same language that Miyetti were saying about me. I have never profiled any Fulani man. I have always qualified anytime I call Fulanis. These are Fulanis from Niger, from Mali, from Senegal, from Mauritania, from Libya, from Chad, who have come together and say they will take over our country to become their own. And that is why they have displaced our people. And who on earth will say I should not say that? I am the governor of Benue State. More than 2 million people are IDPs. And why should I not talk about those who are my enemies and are killing my people? I remain committed. And whatever I have done, whether the law, whatever we're doing in the state, is fully with the support of Benue people.
This is coming. Well, that's the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom. Well, his statement is coming a day after the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, said the same thing. He was inferring that votes for Atiku in Rivers State at the presidential level is not starting. The PDP and the APC have been in verbal war over the APC campaign manifesto. But tonight, we get a lot of reactions and responses from some of these issues. But we will begin from the very top, from where Governor Ortom spoke today, the issue that he raised. Tonight, I'm being joined by a former PDP presidential aspirant and the Director of Strategic Communications of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, Chief Dele Momodu. Thank you so much, Chief Momodu, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sheung, for
Do I need to say that you're a publisher also?
Yes.
One of us until you cross to the other side.
No, I'm still a publisher. I was in my office in Lagos yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Yes, I do politics part-time.
All right. Let's get to it. It does look like your party is in trouble, or your presidential campaign council is in trouble. 2 days, 2 governors have disowned your presidential campaign and the potential of your party's votes in their state. Governor of Rivers State and governor of Benue State. How much of a blow is this for your party?
I don't see it as any blow. And before I continue, you are aware that I'm a great fan of Governor Wike. And Governor Ortom happens to be one of our good governors. But you know, they work together. And when you look at the pattern, you will see that it's like a deliberate orchestration for maximum effect and impact. It is not true that our candidate did not want to involve them. Our candidate reached out to them several times at home and abroad, but they remained very rigid in their position. In every reconciliation, you expect a shift, and they said they were not going to shift. And anyone who knows Atiku Abubakar very well, we know that he's a man who conducts himself very well. His comportment, in fact, is unprecedented. He does not exchange verbal attacks with anybody. He's been talking to them. He will continue to dialogue with them. They pulled out. Even some of those whose names were published, they pulled them out and said, no, we're not participating in the process when the Presidential Campaign Council was announced. So what do you want him to do? He can't wait forever, like waiting for Godot. So, and that is why he has moved on in peace, that maybe one day they will have a change of heart and look favorably in his direction. But as it is, he has carried on with his campaign without attacking any governor. Calling him an agent of Miyetti Allah, I mean, that is extreme. Anybody who has followed the trajectory of our candidate, Atiku Abubakar, we know that this is a man who is completely detribalized. He is a man who has friends in every part of Nigeria. I now currently work in his office. I see a lot of young men and women, young, from every part of Nigeria, doing their work. Atiku Abubakar cannot be an agent of Miyetti. I think that's carrying it too far.
Is it coincidence now that yesterday on this program, what Femi Fani-Kayode stated here is what part of what Governor ORTOM'S is re-echoing. They are of different political parties, and is these allegations of ethnic bigotry is what they have raised, and perceived alliance in the manner in which they said your presidential candidate is aligned. Isn't it the fact that the Governor Wike, ORTOM'S, Seyi Makinde, and Ekpazu are asking that there should be equity, and the same thing that the likes of Chief Bode George are saying, that there needs to be a southern face that could give them some sense of relevance in the party in this presidential election, and they're asking that there should be equity. Isn't it what they're asking for?
It is too late in the day for anybody to be asking for a southern candidate. We held an election, a primary.
Is it a southern candidate they're asking for, or a southern representation that is meaningful?
We have them in our party. In fact, PDP has done far better than any other party in Nigeria. If you look at our trajectory between 1999 and 2007, PDP presented President Obasanjo. Then we had Yaradua, who was in power for 3 years. Then we had President Jonathan, who was there for 5 years. So in PDP, we've had 5 plus 8, that's 13 years, out of 24 years by next year. So we don't have that problem in PDP. You can talk about APC, how they are doing, how they are not doing, that's not. But I can tell you that the last president PDP fielded was a southerner from the south-south. So nobody is going to accuse us of entrenching Hausa Fulani interests. There is a major campaign of calumny today in Nigeria against the Hausa Fulani, which I find very dangerous. They are Nigerians. They are part of Nigerians. And elections are about figures, about numbers. So if the Hausa Fulani are able to manage themselves better than the Southerners, so be it. I was in that race. And I can tell you that the Southern candidates never worked together. I even tried to reach some Southern governors who would not receive me. Whereas when you go to the North, you get this open door. I went to Sokoto, Governor Tabua was personally driving me around. In the South, I was just like a nobody. So that is the nature of politics. It is whosoever has the ability and capacity to carry every other person along. And let me warn, whenever in the past we've had 2 strong Southern candidates, they lost to the North. It happened in 1979 between Chief Awolowo and the Owele of Onitsha, Chief Nnamdi Azikiwe. It repeated itself in 1983. So the South must learn about politics and politicking. It is not about sentiment.
Are you saying the South is naive politically?
I didn't say so. I didn't use the word naive or naivety, but I am telling you history. In history...
So, and the history that you're portraying, I mean, have you said,
we are repeating
and
the
the
same
trend,
mistake
that the southern Nigeria political force have gotten it wrong. That's what you're saying.
Democracy is different from revolution. We must choose between democracy and revolution. The South cannot blackmail the North, just like the North cannot blackmail the South. We must work together. When you refuse to do that, you are heading to failure.
And let me ask you perhaps the obvious question here. President Momodu Buhari is a Fulani man from the northwestern region of this country. And obviously, too, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, a Fulani man from the northeastern region of the country. And the question some of those who are of that school of thought is that, can a Fulani man do 8 years, no matter what political party they belong, they have governed Nigeria, and another Fulani man govern Nigeria for another 8 years? Is it fair? This is the question those of the school of thought are asking.
Democracy is not always about fairness. And the best example and ready example I can give you will be the American example. How long did it take for Obama to emerge in America? It's a game of number. It's not about sentiments. You and I can cry from now till kingdom come. Until we learn to conduct politics properly, we will continue to lose. Look, when President Obasanjo was going to come, what did they do? He made sure that he reached across to everybody. When they were going to bring President Yar'Adua, they reached across to everybody. There is nobody in the race today half as popular as Buhari was between 2003 and 2015. Buhari was only able to make it, not because he was a Fulani man, but when he was able to reach out to the South. So any Southerner who wants to become president of Nigeria must reach out to the North. Insulting them is not going to make you president. I read a lot of insults on social media today. Trust me, it will never make anybody president.
But the question is that the comment and all of these things that are being said and the allegation against your presidential candidate and what is said in Kaduna, the Arawa Forum, is he not buttressing the allegations and the issue that I have raised about his ethnic, beliefs and ethnic biases?
What did he say in Kaduna? What he said was simple English. So, but people decided to cut away the conclusion. He said the North, it was the North asking him a question. And he told his people, he said, don't vote for anybody on account of region. A lot of people today, they are whipping up emotional sentiment that it is because of where I come from, the Emiloko syndrome, that because I'm a Yoruba man, then I deserve to be president. Because I'm an Igbo man, I deserve to be president. Nobody has championed Igbo presidency more than some of us. But that cannot be your only qualification. Go and sell your credentials. Go and sell your manifesto. Atiku Abubakar does not need any of that any longer because he has sold it over the years, over the decades, and everybody is familiar with him. As a man, you can call him names. He will not respond.
So are you saying,
but
Chief
you
Dele
cannot
Momodu,
call him an ethnic jingoist? Never.
Are you saying that what Governor ORTOM'S said today is wrong?
He's carrying it too far.
Is he wrong?
He's a man I like very much.
But is he wrong?
He's very wrong to label him an agent of Miyetti Allah.
Based on the comments,
you can say,
ascribe to him.
No, he can say anything about Atiku Abubakar, but to call him an agent of Miyetti Allah, I disagree vehemently with that. It's wrong. You see, if you don't want to support a man, it's very easy to give a dog a bad name in order to hang it. But it is wrong to disparage a man who has served his country meritoriously, who has done everything he could for every part of his country. But because you are playing politics, because you disagree with him, then you use such weighty words against him. Well, there is always another time.
If words are weighty and they are true, it
becomes
a matter.
I am telling you that even Governor Wike, who is supposed to be the angriest of them all because he participated in our primary, he has not used such words against Atiku Abubakar. I give that to his credit. So in getting angry, in trying not to work for Atiku Abubakar, if that is their decision, let us conduct ourselves well. Look, people get angry. There is nothing wrong in being angry. I give it to them that they have every reason to be angry. But we should not cross certain lines. And I've written in the last couple of months to Governor Wike, who is the closest to me among them, because I call him the poster boy of PDP. Great guy, doing very well. And I've advised that, look, don't cross certain lines. That night, he called, we spoke briefly, and we continue to respect his opinion. But I will continue to beg him, don't destroy a bridge after you've crossed it, because you don't know if you will need that bridge again tomorrow. If you don't need it, it could be a member of your family.
When these are agitations for those, the Governor Wike and the rest, those who believe that the southern region in your party have been badly treated and shortchanged. And the question I will ask you, it is not too much of a hot water. The intensity and the temperature of the water that your party and your presidential campaign has found itself, I'm not sure how you're going to be able to meander through, but can your presidential campaign do without an Oyo State of Seyi Makinde that is not supporting your presidential campaign, a Benue State that has come out openly today that is not supporting your presidential campaign, a River State led by Nyesom Wike that is not supporting your presidential campaign, and obvious Okeze Ikpeazu of Abia State that is not supporting? Is your party in trouble in these 4 states?
Our party is not in trouble. I'm a child of destiny. And God is responsible for everything you are on earth. If it is God's wish that Atiku is the next president of Nigeria, 20 governors cannot stop him. It happened before our very eyes in Osun State. We counted on Governor Seyi Makinde to come. For whatever reason, I don't know, he couldn't make it. We never made an issue of it. We didn't have Governor Wike when we were doing the campaign in Osun State. We were able to defeat the firepower of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who comes from Osun State, his ancestry in Osun State. So it was very important that he should win Osun State. But despite the absence of all those who were expected to support us, we won that election convincingly. And that is how it should be. So that's why I keep begging Governor Wike that don't be found wanting in the day that you are needed the most. Whether he likes PDP or not, PDP has done very well for him, just like he has also done very well for PDP. Governor Seyi Makinde has an election next year. I don't see how he would destroy PDP and still use the same platform. He won't do that. He's a smart gentleman that I know reasonably well enough. I know they are angry. I know that they are forming a powerful bloc in PDP, but trust me, PDP is so big that PDP will not be threatened because our governors are angry. And PDP will not go into any fight whatsoever with them. We will continue to appeal to them. We love them like you love your own family. And we are hoping that very soon we will put it all behind us and we shall all embrace once again.
All right. Because the issue of non-inclusion and perceived marginalization, a lot of people will attribute that is one of the problems that have led Nigeria to where it is today. And you have said that politics is a game of number. And I dare to ask you tonight that, are you saying, Chief Momodu, that because democracy is a game of numbers, another northerner can succeed Atiku if he wins in 2023 and governs for 8 years?
Nothing is impossible. I'm a very frank person. I've just given you the example of America. We practice the same style of America in democracy today. And I can tell you, if it took America over 200 years to produce an Obama, it can happen anywhere in the world. People must work. Today, Sunak became British Prime Minister. He didn't do it by whipping up sentiments. He did it by working towards his goal, by consensus, by reaching out to everybody. Nobody is going to hand over power to the South free of charge. Let me give you a good example. When President Jonathan was going to run in 2011, I ran in that election. A lot of people argued that he had no right to run. Did they not allow him to run? He ran. When he wanted to do his second term, people came up with the idea that no, Constitutionally, he's not supposed to run. PDP still allowed him to run. So we don't have that issue of marginalization in PDP.
Because, I mean, you made reference to the British situation of Sunak. That cannot apply because they operate a different system. They didn't go for an election because it's the mandate of the party from 2019 election that they're still holding on to. And Sunak won in the party to become the leader of the party.
No.
The question is that your party has said, I mean, in fact, you have it in your constitution. The concept of rotation, the concept of fairness, of balance. Is it not too much of a hypocrisy for those who are watching? Other parties do not have it. Your party have it cast in stone, in brick.
No.
You have it in black and white that you are going to have it.
In stone. As a matter of fact, Sheung, let me give you a fact. It was this same our Governor Autumn who sat on the panel to look at whether we should zone or not to zone. It was Governor Autumn. Some of us even kicked at that time that why did you allow us to buy our forms before you start doing a meeting on whether you are going to apply zoning or not. It is nobody's fault. They recommended to the neck of the party. The neck of the party said, look, for us to have favorable competition in the election, let us throw it open. No governor kicked at that stage. Trouble only started after a southerner who thought he would win lost. There was never a time that we said, if I didn't believe in it when they threw out the zoning, then I will not compete.
Chief Momodu, do you think Atiku will win this election?
Oh, his time has come. Every man has his time. By God's grace, and not God, his time has come. He has paid his dues. He has conducted himself well. He has gone through trials and tribulations. They have thrown dirty things at him, and he has remained focused. In fact, his story will be one of the biggest exciting stories out of the continent of Africa, of a man who pursued his dreams. And on the 30th anniversary of June 12th, on the 25th anniversary of Chief Abiola's death, that he will be crowned. Here was a man who stepped down for Chief Abiola in 1993 in Jos. I was there. I saw him. I was a 32, 33-year-old man at the time. And today, I am honored that after working for Abiola at that time, nearly 30 years after, I am here and we're about to crown a man who gave my adopted father that opportunity to get a ticket. Atiku has never been desperate.
You think that he can beat the likes of Peter Obi, the likes of Bola Tinubu?
Let's be fair. I won't write off anybody. I will never write off Peter Obi or write off Asiwaju. But I've told you historically, and maybe I won't be right, but I know I am right. There is no way you have two strong southern candidates like you do right now. They are going to split the votes, and Atiku is the only one who can penetrate the south more readily than either of the two penetrating the north.
The reverse is, in fact, the argument and the permutation that most of the votes that will go for Peter Obi in the southeast and in the southern part of the country, especially southeast and south-south, in fact, some part of southwest, are the votes that are traditionally for your party.
Trust me, Peter Obi is not Goodluck Jonathan. Atiku Abubakar is not Goodluck Jonathan, because that argument comes from what happened to the former president. Trust me, in the south, the most formidable force who had always had his network in PDM with Yaradua in those days, Yaradua of blessed memory, he's always had it, is Atiku. None of the other people ever built such networks in the north. Now they are struggling to catch up in the next 3 to 4 months. Trust me, the ready-made president for Nigeria is Atiku Abubakar. He's ready-made.
If Atiku does not win this time around, that will be the very end.
Oh, if Tinubu does not win this time around, that will be the very end. That's not new, but I'm telling you that...
Would you be surprised if Atiku does not win?
No, there is nothing that can stop him this time. He is a man. What time has come?
But what if the voters don't want him?
Who are the voters? The voters are from every part of Nigeria. And I'm telling you that he's the only one who has been a bridge builder. He's the only one who's been able to cross to the south. The others are struggling now to build a network in the north. You know it. You are
see what is you see the kind of crowd that Bola Tinubu is commanding on the streets in some of the rallies. You see the kind of crowd.
Was it the crowd
just a moment, Momodu, the kind of crowd that Peter Obi is commanding and the kind of rave he's getting. Those are not threat enough for your party.
Have you seen the crowd that Atiku Abubakar has been pulling without having a rally in Bauchi State? When I saw the movement, the breeze, the sea of human beings, I couldn't believe it. The same is doing everywhere. We were in Edo on Saturday. My state, I was there. We have been in Uyo. Look, the only man today who readily cuts across every part of Nigeria is Atiku Abubakar. Hate him, love him. You can't take that away from him. He earned his dues.
All right. Before I get into the campaign manifesto of the APC, where you seem to have gotten into trouble with your very good friend, Festus Keyamo, you said something earlier that when two Southerners are running in the race, two strong Southerners, that historically there's always a problem and they've never won. But you've forgotten that there is another man who is a Northerner who is also strong in this race, Kwankwanso from Kano State, the second largest voting bloc in this country. Is that a threat for Atiku?
I didn't forget him. Senator Rabi Musa Kwankwanso is a man I love and respect. We've come way back. And I am telling you, the North understands the game of power. Whether we want to accept that fact or not, that is the truth. In the South, I told you how difficult it is for us, even as aspirants, to work together. In the North, if the decision, let me put if, is that Atiku Abubakar is favored to win ahead of Kwankwanso, the North will converge and give it to Atiku Abubakar. That is what is going to happen. I'm not placing a bet, but I know it for a fact. Look, why do you think our Director General, Governor Tambuwa, stepped down for Atiku Abubakar? It was a game of number. It was a master stroke, which a lot of people did not see coming. In fact, that's one of the reasons why the governors are very angry, because they did not see it coming. But a few of us saw it coming. As far back as March 30th, I had written a letter to Governor Wike telling him precisely what will happen. March, I copied Chief Mike Ozekome, SAN. I copied former Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Mohammed Adoke, SAN. They have copies of that letter. And I told him how the thing will flow. 2 weeks to our primary, I wrote on the back of this day in my column, Pendulum column, I said, Governor Wike, don't bet that you will spend money and you'll be able to get through at the convention. I was dismissed. On your program, 2 days before our primary, you asked Governor Wike about Dele Momodu. What did he do? He dismissed me. Did I complain? People called me and said, oh, this. I said, no, it's my man. He's our best governor. No matter what he says to me, I will take it. If he slaps my right cheek, I will turn the left cheek. But today, I am right and they were wrong.
So let's move swiftly because we're very much short of time now. Festus Keyamo has responded to you. You have criticized the action plan of Bola Tinubu and APC presidential campaign. And you said it's more of a copy and paste. And you have at several times spoken very much well about Bola Tinubu. But at what point did Bola Tinubu become a persona non grata, in quote, to you?
Anyone who knows me very well knows that I respect people. I love my friends, but I tell my friends the gospel truth. When Bola Ahmed Tinubu was governor of Lagos and he had issues with Senator Tokunbo Afikuyomi, I came out openly to confront him that what you are doing is wrong. In fact, that night, he called me to his office in his house in Bodilon. He said, why are you attacking me because of Tokunbo? I said, because you could have told the man that you are not going to support him so that he will not waste his time and resources. When he was having issues with Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola, and he was almost dropping him, I wrote an article between Bola Tinubu and Babatunde Fashola in which I warned him that your marriage was consummated in heaven. Either of you or both of you, if you go for a divorce, you are going to perish. On that occasion, he backtracked. When he was having issues with Ambode, I wrote a letter. I remember I was in Turkey. One of my most passionate letters ever. I wrote to him again. I said, look, I'm 20 times closer to Babajide Sanwo-Olu. I love him like my own brother. I said, but don't humiliate Ambode. This man has done great for Lagos State and Nigeria. And he refused. I told him, you can hold the gun, don't fire the bullet. The articles are there in the public domain. Because when he had problems with Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki, and he said the man would not become Senate president, I came forcefully out to say, look, CPC has produced a Buhari as number 1. Your party, ACN, has produced Professor Yemi Osinbajo as number 2, vice president. Now, the breakaway faction of PDP, you are saying one of them cannot be Senate president. I said, I'm sorry, sir, I disagree with you. Let the man be. He refused. The man became Senate president. And they haunted him from beginning to the end. He never had peace.
In your response today, you said that Bola Tinubu doesn't know how to treat his friends very well. Those are the inference that you were making. Is that true?
I gave copious examples.
You also
he's the only governor I know, maybe there are others that I'm not aware of, who had 2 deputy governors and they both got into trouble. You see, when... You are
inferring that he cannot be trusted as a friend.
No,
is that what
I'm
you're saying?
inferring dictatorship, nothing else. Democracy, I just said it now. I will never support a dictatorship. I suffered under dictatorship. I was in detention. I was in exile for 3 years. I will never. That is why some of those who are trying to dictate that by fire, by force, someone must become president, I've told them, count me out of it. Dictatorship has no way in my books. So once you begin to demonstrate dictatorship,
so in your books, Bola Tinubu is a dictator.
He is a potential dictator. Let me use that word.
And that is why, that is the spirit of your articles.
The spirit of my article was an academic exercise. There was nowhere I disparaged him. But because Festus Keyamo is always an attack dog, he likes to yell. Even when he's in court, he's yelling. I don't know where he got that kind of training from. So when he's talking, he doesn't know how to calm down. He's my aburo. He's someone we've been very close. But the moment they gave him this job of minister, a ministry where he has been less than competent, a ministry where everything is in shambles. If I were in his shoes by now, I'm sure I would have resigned. He's in that ministry and he has the time and the audacity to be abusing me because all I did was an academic exercise.
So in 30 seconds, if you can tell us, you do not agree that the Bola Tinubu manifesto is original?
No, I do not agree. Even from the cover, from the title, renewed hope. Which hope are you renewing? 30 years ago, Chief Abiola wrote Farewell to Poverty. That was the manifesto. Today, you are talking of renewed hope. Of course, a lot of water has passed under the bridge in the last 30 years. What I expect you to do is an update. Whether you want to call it hope, who could call it hope? By calling it renewed hope, is a stylish way of stealing that original manifesto. And
what are you saying? That they should recall that manifesto?
It's none of my business. I didn't pay the consultants. He paid.
Thank you so much, Chief Dele Momodu, for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sheung.
And I wish your party and your candidate the very best in the race.
Thank you.
Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.